Borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder, or BPD, is a serious mental disorder marked by a pattern of ongoing instability in moods, behavior, self-image, and functioning. It is a condition that affects the way a person processes everyday emotions and reactions. People with BPD are often impulsive and emotionally unstable. They may have intense episodes of anger, anxiety, and depression that can last for several hours and be followed by a more stable period. These episodes could also last several days and negatively affect the person's work, relationships, as well as physical health. Some people with BPD are prone to self-injury, accidents, and fights. Suicide is also more common among people with BPD. Another way to understand how a person with BPD experiences life is to realize that they have a more difficult time returning to an emotional baseline. When something exciting or positive happens, they may experience greater joy for longer, but the opposite is also true. If something bad happens, they may have trouble bouncing back. Borderline personality disorder is thought to be triggered by a traumatic event, such as hostile family environment, childhood abuse and neglect, as well as separation from caregivers during early childhood. Researchers believe that those who have BPD due to a traumatic event, they experience different structural changes in the part of the brain that controls their emotions and impulses. However, it should be noted that this also shows up in people who do not have BPD, which makes BPD even more mysterious and unknown. BPD can be hard to detect as it is often overlaps with other mental illnesses. For instance, one may talk about depression but not talk about or be aware of their other symptoms. This results in one being wrongfully diagnosed with depression and not BPD. The list of symptoms of BPD includes frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment, a pattern of intense and unstable relationships with family, friends, and loved ones, frequently swinging from extreme closeness and love or idealization to extreme dislike or anger or devaluation, distorted and unstable self-image or sense of self, impulse and often dangerous behaviors such as heavy alcohol consumption, unsafe sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, and binge eating, recurring suicidal behaviors or threats or self-harming behaviors, intense and highly changeable moods, chronic feelings of emptiness, inappropriate and intense anger or problem controlling anger, stress-related paranoid thoughts, severe dissociative symptoms such as feeling cut off from oneself, and lastly, observing oneself from outside the body or losing touch with reality. People with borderline personality disorder tend to have major difficulties when it comes to relationships. Their wild mood swings, angry outbursts, their chronic fear of abandonment, as well as their irrational and impulsive behaviors can leave their loved ones feeling helpless, abused, as well as off balance. Hence, BPD relationships are oftenly chaotic, intense, as well as it involves countless amount of conflicts. In essence, people with BPD are often terrified that others will leave them. However, they can also shift suddenly to feeling smothered and fearful of intimacy, which leads them to withdraw from the relationship. The result is a constant back and forth between demands for love or attention and sudden withdrawal or isolation. There is no doubt that communication is a key part in any relationship. However, communicating with a borderline person can be quite challenging, as this disorder distorts the messages they hear and those they try to express. Hence, here are some strategies that you can adapt in order to communicate with your loved ones or your partner who suffer from BPD. Well, first thing first is you have to learn about the disorder itself. This will help you understand what they are experiencing as well as it will help you understand their level of emotional disorder. This can help you respond in a way that protects both of you from additional chaos. When you find the right time to talk, actively listen with no distractions. Try not interrupt or redirect the conversation. Instead, show that you are listening by nodding and by using small verbal comments. You don't have to agree with what they're saying, but make it clear that you are listening and acknowledging with what they have to say. The feelings of the person with BPD is trying to communicate is much more important than the words he or she is using. People with BPD need validation of the pain they are struggling with. Listen to the emotion your loved one is trying to communicate rather than the words he or she is using. Do your best to stay calm even if your loved one starts to become reactive. Avoid getting defensive in the face of accusations and criticisms, no matter how unfair you feel they are. Defending yourself will only make your loved one angrier. Walk away if you need to give yourself some time and space to cool down. Anything that draws your loved one's attention can work. However, distraction is the most effective when the activity is soothing. Try exercising, sipping on hot tea, listening to music, grooming a pet, gardening, painting, or even completing household chores. Given all the difficulties that exist in BPD relationships, why would anyone start a relationship with someone who has this disorder? Well, firstly, it is very important to remember that despite all the intense and disruptive symptoms, people with BPD can be exceptionally caring, affectionate, as well as compassionate. They often have many positive qualities that can make them great romantic partners. A person with BPD may also be very physical and they could be very eager to spend a lot of time with their partner. In fact, some people find this level of devotion from a partner very pleasant. There is no such treatment that could cure BPD. However, the recovery from this disorder may look like fewer threats of self-harm, a reduction of frequency of emotional outbursts, as well as a decrease in the intensity of reactivity. Relapse may occur, but crisis will resolve quickly and you will be more prepared to handle the situation. Psychotherapy, otherwise known as talk therapy, can be incredibly valuable for treating BPD. In addition to learning about the signs and symptoms of the disorder, individuals can gain skills for managing difficult emotions, developing and maintaining relationships, reducing impulsive decision-making, as well as improving daily functioning. The most common type of psychotherapy used to treat BPD is known as dialectical behavior therapy or DBT. DBT can offer skills to not only cope with but successfully live with BPD. The therapy helps people change unhealthy patterns of behavior by exploring new coping techniques and learning how to calm the emotional storm in healthy ways. Up until these days, there are no drugs approved by the FDA that have been specifically created to treat personality disorders. However, some people find that medications can help reduce anxiety and the impulsivity in individuals. These might include antidepressants, mood stabilizers, as well as antipsychotic medications. If an individual with borderline personality disorder experiences intense symptoms such as self-injury or physically harming others, they may be in need of inpatient treatments at a hospital or other residential programs. Borderline personality disorder is a personality disorder that is not much spoken about, as many are afraid of it. But it is very important for us to remember that those with BPD are still individuals who deserve to be heard and loved, just like all of us. We have reached toward the end of our video, and if you find this video very informative or it has helped you in some ways, please do not hesitate to click on the like button below, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel in order to understand more about the different type of personality disorder. And lastly, remember that it's a disorder and not a decision. Thank you for your time and have a good day.